Hudson. Thank you so much for joining me for this interview today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course, it's awesome to get to see you again. And for those of you watching, this is Hudson. He is in the cast of our new web series, Virtual Love and Lockdown, which premieres this spring, which is super exciting. And so, my first question to you, Hudson, is for the people who are watching who don't know who you are, can you just give a quick introduction?
Of course, yeah, I'm Hudson Franzoni. I'm an actor and musician. I play the role of Zach, which has been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yes. And Zach he's great. He's nice, he's charming, he's fun. And so what similarities and differences do you have between your character? Did you find things that you're like, oh yeah, I can relate to him? Or were there things that were like, oh, this is a little bit different outside of my wheelhouse?
Right. I felt a lot of similarities. He was kind, polite, slightly reserved at first, which is sort of who I am naturally. So I thought it was a pretty authentic character for me to dive into. So I thought that was a lot of fun. I didn't feel as though it was polar opposite. I was just doing a project a bit ago, I think at the beginning of quarantine, where I had to play sort of a greaser,
Mm,
not a good guy. So it was a bit more difficult for me to like play that sort of person.
yeah.
But this was much more natural, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like the role itself of Zach, but also just like the show is it's a lot like real life, and so
Right.
I think you like really eased into the character, and I think the audience will see that he's super charming, like you said, a little bit reserved, but awesome. So yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
My next question is, since we filmed remotely, what was that experience like for you? And generally speaking, what has it been like working on virtual productions during the pandemic?
Been it's been an interesting experience. It's definitely been unique. You know, nearly most or all auditions before the pandemic for me were not self-tape.
Mhm.
100% of them are obviously self-tapes now.
Yeah.
Um, and it can feel a bit disconnecting in ways. I'm sure as a filmmaker, it feels a bit different. Um, a lot of what I see work wise from a lot of my colleagues is they're jumping into the animation world because a lot of it can be done in isolation.
Yeah.
So I've gone on more auditions for voice acting, I would say, probably tenfold than actual acting auditions during
Same.
quarantine.
I
Right.
relate totally. I feel like
Yeah.
that market has completely expanded, which is super cool. But
Yeah.
definitely challenged everyone, whether you're an actor, whether you work in music, whether you work in the film production side. It's definitely,
Right.
I think, challenging our imagination and kind of what our new normal is going to look like, which I think is good because I think a challenge is going to help everybody grow as an artist.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and you actually also work in the music industry. I
Yes.
mentioned people working in the music industry. So, first of all, what do you do for the people watching who don't know? What do you do in the music industry? And how has it been working during the pandemic as an artist in music?
It has been, in the music world, for me, not a lot has changed on the production end because I'm usually isolated. Before, when I was solely working in the music industry, I would have artists reach out and I would produce tracks for them.
Hmm.
So that was sort of my livelihood month to month. And it hasn't changed too much. But what has changed, obviously, for the music industry is taken a huge hit touring wise, because most of the revenue earned by musicians and anyone is touring and selling merch. And it's been really hard for artists in general to just live off of their, monthly Spotify streams. And
Yeah.
um, well, yeah, it's definitely shifted. I make sure to go out of my way to support a lot of artist friends of mine, no matter the industry, because it's definitely taken a hit. But it again, like you said, it's enabling people to sort of create a stronger community during this time and reach out to each other and collaborate more. And I think that's been a positive, and it's forced us to grow and change in really great ways. And when you're stuck inside and you can't be on a set, or you can't do the things that you normally could, you kind of have to find other creative outlets.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
totally resonate with everything you just said. That is really relatable, and I feel like you know um, we really are right now as like an industry, whether we're from like digital artists or musicians or actors, we're all
right,
coming together because right now it's all about just connections and collaboration. And for me as an artist,
absolutely,
that's like always my thing, is I'm always trying to collaborate and give people opportunities like you, and just kind of hype up everybody that I know that's an artist, because we're all struggling no matter what field. And
absolutely,
what you said about like, I don't think a lot of people realize that artists, musicians don't make that much money from just the music. It comes from the merch and the touring. I don't think a lot of people
right,
realize that. So I think you bringing attention to that is so important, because like Spotify really does not pay their artists well. And it's embarrassing, but yeah, because like you could have a million listens on a song and make barely nothing. And that's hard
right,
when you're not able to actually go around the country and sell t-shirts and meet fans who are going to invest in your music. So I think that's a really
yeah,
unique perspective that you have, and thank you for drawing attention to that.
yeah. Of course, it's definitely important.
Awesome. So my next question is, where can people find you on social media or your website if they're like, Hudson's cool, I want him to act in my thing, or I want to check out his music? Where can they find you?
They can just, I'm just Instagram.com/Hudson Henry. Hudson Henry 1 on Twitter, because I could not get Hudson Henry. Someone had it. I was like, no. And I am releasing a website, I would say, in the next month, because I'm releasing a new song, and did like a complete rebrand and spent my time making all new merch. So that should be good. A music video, which should be a lot of fun, because I'm having all fans and kind of people in the video as well, doing what they love. So it should be a fun collaboration in that way too. So yeah, just Hudson Henry on Instagram is kind of the best place to reach me. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm gonna, for those of you watching, if you want to check out his Instagram, just click his name below on this video. I'm linking his username, and stay tuned for his new music, his new merch, and his website coming soon. That's super exciting for you. Congrats.
thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of work.
Oh yeah, I completely understand. Like, I don't think people realize how much work goes into just doing one thing. So the fact that you're
Yeah,
doing all this stuff, that's really incredible, and involving your fans and like real people, I think that's really awesome. So
absolutely. They're
congrats.
a they're a big help. I produced a band a while ago, Cimarelli. I did their record Hearts on Fire, and they really help me in the music industry. And their fans are amazing, and yeah, so it's been a big thing. So I definitely owe everyone some new merch and new music. So hopefully they'll like it. Hopefully you like it.
Exactly. And if you're watching, follow his Instagram too, because he has great outfits. You work with like Fabletics Men, right? As like an influencer, right?
Yeah, our partnership actually just ended, but they were fantastic. Everyone works at Athletics. They're just great people. Just I really align with them socially, and what they stand up for and what they represent, and
Oh,
that's always really important to me.
yeah.
And there are a few other clothing lines. Movement Watches and I were doing another collaboration soon, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I also kind of built this great community through Fabletics Men. I met a lot of great people through that, and trainers, and they've become my friends. So it was a lot of fun. Very
Awesome.
cool.
That's amazing. Like, I love that you've made connections and friends through that. And you've gotten to show your awesome outfits. So again, follow
Yeah.
him, check out his great fashion sense. Um, yeah. Okay, so my second to last question is, if you had to describe your character, Zach, in
Okay.
just three
Okay.
adjectives, what
Okay.
would it be and why?
That's tough. I would say kind,
Hmm.
reserved,
Hmm.
Hmm, I'd have to say polite.
I feel like those are good. I feel like those are really good. This isn't an one word adjective, so pardon me. But if I
You're
had
fine.
to add one more thing,
Go for it.
I think there's more to him than meets the eye, and you learn more about him as time goes on. And I don't want to give anything away, but I think yeah, there's more to Zach. He's layered, layered, and yeah, ambiguous, mysterious. I don't know, interesting, fun, polite. All those words. Yeah, there's so many things you could describe him as. So my last question is, uh,
Okay.
what is one thing that you would want to tell the audience before they watch the show?
I would say it's a unique yet authentic take on how people are dealing with their day-to-day lives, dating, social interactions
Mhm.
during quarantine, during the pandemic. So,
Totally. Yeah. I
yeah,
think like we're living in a time that is so unique. Everybody's dealing with newness. Every single day is something
right.
new about the pandemic. So yeah, I think this kind of just shows like a little taste of what all of that interpersonal relationships are like and what just like being alone and isolated is like too. So yeah, well thank you again for being a part of this interview. It was great
Yeah,
talking to you and hearing your unique perspective on everything.
thank you. Thanks so much. I'm
Yeah,
excited for it. It's gonna be great. I'm really
I know,
excited.
I'm excited too. And for those of you watching, Virtual Love and Lockdown premieres on April 20th. The very first episode comes out then, and then we're going to be releasing each episode weekly. So it's going to be a few weeks of a lot of fun. Um, and Hudson is actually in episode 6. So stay tuned for his episode. And yeah, thanks again, Hudson, for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of
Thanks so
course.
much.
Bye.